Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive. Today, we're stepping off the well-trodden path, venturing into some genuinely unsettling corners of the wilderness. We've gathered a collection of true accounts from hikers, backpackers, stories where the peace and quiet they expected just gave way to something way more sinister.
Yeah, unexpected and frankly, deeply disturbing.
Right. This isn't about bears or getting lost. These are encounters, often with other people, that really challenge how we think about things when civilization is, like, miles away.
Indeed. I mean, we seek out nature for solitude, for beauty, right? But these stories, they're a stark reminder that the wilderness can also be a stage for the bizarre, the dangerous, and sometimes the truly inexplicable.
So today we'll be looking at a few of these stories, trying to understand maybe not the why, because sometimes you can't, but the impact.
Exactly. Exploring the what-ifs and the lasting psychological effects on the people who went through these things. Often, the biggest unknowns out there aren't creatures, but, well, the darker sides of human nature.
Okay, let's start. Our first story takes us deep into the backcountry of Arkansas. Picture this: a freelance writer and her partner living this simple, nomadic life. They love exploring state parks.
Sounds pretty idyllic, actually.
It does. In their experience, they know how to handle themselves. They like the solitude. So they planned a 6-day hike. The area had pretty lax rules, apparently. No permits needed, no check-ins, just them in the woods.
Total freedom, but also total isolation.
Exactly. So a few days in, sun's starting to go down. They're looking for a place to camp. They're maybe half a mile off the main trail. And they spot it. An almost camouflaged green 2-person tent. Now, they describe themselves as the more social type, so their first thought, shout hello.
Makes sense. See if anyone's around.
But nothing. Silence. No reply, no movement. They figured, okay, maybe they're out hiking, maybe they want privacy, so they just moved on, found another spot.
Fair enough.
But then, 2 days later, they're near the end of their trip, hiking in a totally different part of the forest. And they see the exact same tent again.
Whoa, okay, that's weird. The exact same one.
The exact same one. And this time, the tent flap, it's open. So the boyfriend, he's thinking maybe someone's hurt inside, right? He feels they have to check. But the girlfriend, she's getting a really bad feeling.
I bet.
Yeah, she's remembering stories her dad told her about, hermits and mountain men that want privacy, carry guns. A really chilling thought.
Definitely. But the boyfriend insisted.
He did. So they cautiously walk closer. When they get about maybe 20 yards away, this smell hits them.
Oh, no.
An intense smell of decomposition. Just awful. And the boyfriend actually whispers, "If we find a body."
Gosh.
What they found, maybe worse in some ways. Outside the tent, there's a dead doe, horribly mutilated. All 4 legs cut most of the way and then ripped off, covered in flies.
Oh, that's gruesome.
And then they looked inside the tent. The deer's main body and head were in there, but its middle section. It was swaddled in a blood-soaked blue fleece blanket. Like a baby.
Swaddled? Oh, that's deeply unsettling.
It gets worse. The tail was cut off, its orifices, mouth included, covered in dried blood, described as being in a gape, like something had been penetrating it.
Oh my God.
And the bottom part of the deer was bent at this scary, broken-looking angle. And right there, with this scene, were a couple of other things.
Like what?
A dirty, almost empty, clear bottle of Jergens baby oil, and a stained green and white fringed kitchen towel.
Baby oil and a kitchen towel.
Well, yeah.
The combination, the couple just felt pure terror, absolute panic. They didn't even think about camping. They just ran until it was too dark to see.
I can't even imagine.
They spent the whole night hiding, whispering, jumpy at every sound, convinced whoever did that was going to come back, maybe even track them.
On red alert, absolutely.
First light, they bolted, got out of the forest, found a ranger station, told the story to this young ranger who was understandably freaked out, showed him on the map where it was, roughly.
Did anything come of it? Did they find who did it? The story doesn't say. But the impact on the couple, huge. They drastically shortened all their future hikes, 4 days max, and they swore they'd never, ever approach an unmanned tent again.
Wow. What really gets me there is the calculated, almost ritualistic nature of it. That swaddling. The oil, it's not just killing an animal.
No, it's something else entirely.
It goes beyond hunting, beyond anything practical. It points to a very disturbed mind leaving this deliberate, grotesque display. And that combination, the violence and those mundane items, the towel, the oil, it creates this profound sense of violation.
Yeah, the baby oil and the kitchen towel, that's the detail that just sticks with you, isn't it? It feels so wrong, so out of place amidst that savagery. What does that juxtaposition tell us?
Well, it speaks to the deep incongruity, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The wilderness can strip away societal masks, but finding those domestic items alongside such deliberate desecration, it forces you to confront a really disturbing internal logic in the perpetrator.
Like they weren't just out there, they brought pieces of a different twisted world with them.
Exactly. It's not just a hunter. It's someone operating with a specific, deeply unsettling mindset. And because you can't understand the why, the motive remains so ambiguous, which makes the whole thing incredibly haunting. It suggests a kind of darkness that's just hard to process rationally.
Okay, moving from that kind of psychological horror,
Yeah.
Our next story involves a much more direct threat, an armed confrontation. This happened in Alabama's Sipsey Wilderness.
Okay.
It involves a 12-year-old boy on a backpacking trip with his older brother, a seasoned U.S. Army Green Beret.
Ah, okay. So some serious skills there.
Absolutely, and they needed them. The trip started fine, totally normal, until the third night. It's about 8 p.m., getting dark. Two guys, late 20s, just wandering into their camp.
Just wander in.
Yeah, and the boy's description is chilling. He said they had a seriously creepy vibe. Dirty clothes, greasy hair. Looked like they belonged in the movie Deliverance.
Oof. Not a good sign.
Not at all. They ask about seeing any hogs, but then they just linger, asking questions. How long have you guys been out here? How much longer are you staying? Kind of sizing us up, the boy said.
Testing the waters. Checking for vulnerability.
Seems like it. Then, just as suddenly, they say goodbye and walk off. The boy felt really uneasy, but his brother, the Green Beret, seemed calm, at least outwardly.
Trained composure, maybe.
Maybe. But later, around midnight, the boy wakes up, multiple dogs barking, maybe 100 yards away. His brother, who's usually a really heavy sleeper, whispers that he's been awake for an hour, listening.
Ah, so he wasn't unfazed earlier. He was already alert.
Exactly. He heard them getting closer. Told the boy, lie still, be quiet. Initially, he tried to maybe reassure him, saying, oh, they're just hunting hogs. But later, he admitted hunting with dogs at night in that specific area. That's a huge red flag. He knew something was wrong.
Right. That's not typical legitimate hunting behavior in many places, especially at night near established camps.
So, around 2 a.m., the brother wakes the boy up properly, tells him, put on your shoes, follow me, quietly. Then he actually carries his 12-year-old brother about 50 yards deeper into the woods.
Carries him to stay silent.
Must have been. Towards a stream junction. They hide in some thick bushes up on a small hill overlooking their campsite.
Smart move. High ground concealment.
And then from their hiding spot, the brother pulls out an HKUSP pistol.
Okay. He came prepared.
Definitely. And he just watches their empty campsite. And sure enough,
They came back.
they came back. A group of 5 men this time. Relatively young, the boy said. 2 of them definitely had rifles or shotguns, and they had 3 or 4 dogs with them.
5 guys, armed with dogs, heading for their camp at 2 a.m.
And the dogs are going nuts, obviously picking up their scent where they'd been. The brother could tell the men were talking about them. The boy said he was just scared out of my mind.
I would be too.
They both knew. As the brother later put it, nobody who comes up on a random campsite in the middle of the night with dogs and guns has good intentions.
No, absolutely not.
So the men hang around the empty camp for maybe 20 minutes, shining flashlights around, looking agitated. The brother whispers instructions to the boy. He says, if they come towards us, I want you to turn and run as fast as you can. Don't stop. Don't look back. Stay off the trail and look for flashing lights.
Flashing light.
Yeah. And he hands the boy a small flashlight fitted with a red filter, for preserving night vision.
Wow. He had a plan. An escape plan.
And then the men start screaming, where are y'all at? And they just start firing their guns into the woods. Randomly.
Oh my God, just shooting blindly.
Yeah. The brother immediately grabs the boy, drags him further behind the crest of the hill, shielding him with his own body as shots potentially whiz past.
Incredible bravery, protecting his little brother.
As the men finally seem to move away, suddenly a blaring siren cuts through the night, emergency lights flashing through the trees.
What?
How, turns out, the brother, while the boy was asleep earlier after hearing the dogs approach, he'd used a satellite phone to call the Forest Service office.
A satellite phone? Wow. That's serious preparation. And quick thinking.
Absolutely crucial. Game wardens arrived. The Green Beret pointed them in the direction the armed men had gone, and the wardens gave the brothers a ride out, back to safety.
That is An incredible story, just a masterclass in survival.
It really is.
You know, the core insight there for me is just the absolute power of preparedness and trained situational awareness. His military background clearly kicked in.
Totally.
His ability to read those early signs, the creepy visitors, the questions, the dogs at night, and not just dismiss them, but to actually formulate and execute a survival plan, that's remarkable.
Moving them, hiding, having the weapon ready, the escape route, the communication.
Exactly. It was multi-layered.
Yeah.
And that satellite phone, I mean, that highlights how having the right gear, the unexpected gear sometimes, can make all the difference when you're facing human predators, not just environmental dangers.
His response right from that moment, he knew something was off. It was just so strategic. What's the biggest lesson there beyond just having the gear?
For me, it's the proactive threat assessment. He didn't wait for absolute proof of danger. The initial visit, those probing questions, the dog's crow, they were pieces of a puzzle.
Little red flags.
Precisely. And he put them together and acted before it became an immediate, direct confrontation at their tent. He moved them to a secure position first. A lot of people might try to rationalize those creepy vibes away, you know.
Yeah, oh, they're probably harmless, or maybe they're just lost.
Right. But his training, maybe his instinct too, allowed him to see those red flags for what they likely were, precursors to a serious threat. And that ability to shift from just feeling uneasy to taking calculated defensive action, that's the crucial takeaway.
Okay, our final story for today takes us to the Carson National Forest in New Mexico. This involves two sisters. They were raised by their ex-military dad who taught them survival skills.
Another instance of preparedness, perhaps.
Definitely preparedness, but this one tests their psychological strength, their nerve, in a really direct face-to-face encounter.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
So the narrator, she's in college at the time, and her sister is in high school. They spent summers hiking all over this forest, knew it really well. Their dad hadn't just taught them how to make a fire or find water, he taught them self-defense, insisted they always carry a knife.
Good advice.
So they're hiking up to their favorite spot, a place called Lost Lake. They get there, and they're actually pleased because it's totally deserted. Just them.
Nice. Perfect spot to relax.
They head into the trees near the lake to set up their hammocks. And as soon as they step under the tree cover, they get hit by this strong scent of blood and, you know, that dead animal smell.
Oh, not what you want setting up hammocks.
Not at all. They look around, find a deer carcass. Okay, maybe a mountain lion kill or a hunter left it. But then they look closer. Right. It wasn't just a carcass. The organs, entrails, everything was placed in a circle around the deer's body.
In a circle?
Yeah. And between the piles of organs, there were little piles of rocks.
Rocks again.
Yeah.
Like the Arkansas story.
Yeah.
That's odd.
Very odd. The narrator immediately felt this wasn't just someone cleaning a deer. She said it felt like it was set up in a certain meaning or it had meaning. A really unsettling feeling.
Yeah, it sends a chill down your spine. It's deliberate. Ritualistic almost.
And just as that realization hits her, she sees him. The man responsible.
Oh boy.
He's about 20 feet away, near some trees. He's covered in blood, wearing not much clothing, and she described him looking like he'd just climbed out from inside the deer.
Oh wow, that's a visceral image.
And his eyes, all crazy wide, just staring at them, completely silent, utterly still.
Okay, that is terrifying. What did they do?
Well, her sister starts to freak out, understandably, but the narrator, she remembers her dad's advice. In a weird or scary situation, take control, surprise them.
Easier said than done when facing that.
Right. But somehow she does it, takes a deep breath, looks right at the blood-covered man with the crazy eyes and says calmly, "Hey, pretty good kill you got there. Use a bow."
Wow. Just addressed him.
Yeah.
Casually.
Casually. Like it was the most normal thing in the world. The man just keeps staring, silent. So the narrator holds his gaze, doesn't look away, and very deliberately puts her hand on the handle of her knife, visible on her belt.
Sending a message.
Exactly. A nonverbal, "I'm not scared, I'm armed, don't mess with us." She said she wanted to convey she wasn't going to back down or be afraid.
That takes incredible nerve.
Incredible. So they start slowly backing away, keeping eye contact. The man just stands there, like a statue, watching them.
Still silent.
Still silent. They manage to get around the lake, back onto the main trail heading down. They think maybe it's over. But then pebbles start hitting the ground around them.
Thrown from behind, he followed them.
Seems like it. But the narrator, she's still defiant. She spins around and yells back at the trees, "Go back to your deer and leave us alone."
She yelled back after all that.
She did. And the pebbles stopped.
It worked.
Kind of. The pebbles stopped, but then they started hearing these barking and growling noises. Like an animal, but not quite right. Coming from the woods beside the trail, following them.
Oh, that's even creepier. What do they do?
Her sister was terrified, wanted to run, but the narrator insisted, ignore it, just keep walking. And they did. Walked with purpose, not looking back. The noises followed them for a long way, but eventually, as they got closer to a trail junction, the sounds seemed to fade, to back off. They finally got away.
Wow. Wow. What an ordeal.
Later, the sisters talked about it, obviously. The sister was convinced the guy was very sinister, dangerous, the narrator. Maybe trying to process it, she thought maybe he was just getting his kicks out of scaring two girls.
The ambiguity again. Was he truly dangerous or just deeply disturbed and trying to frighten them?
Exactly. Their dad, when he heard, he wasn't taking any chances. More self-defense training, specifically close quarters stuff, and he banned them from hiking alone, or even just the two of them together, ever again.
Understandable reaction from a father?
Some neighbors actually hiked up there later. They found the deer carcass still arranged in that weird way, some empty hiking packs nearby, and a cleared-out rustic campsite. But no sign of the weirdo, as they called him. He just vanished.
Leaving behind that chilling uncertainty, the core insight there is really about psychological fortitude, isn't it?
Yeah, it seems like it.
That narrator's response, drawing on her dad's training to be bold, to counter-challenge, it fundamentally shifted the dynamic of that initial confrontation. She didn't react like prey.
Right, she took control, like her dad said. Even asking about the bow, it's so unexpected.
Exactly. It disrupted his script, whatever it was. But it also highlights that ambiguity we keep bumping into. Was he a genuine threat or just a profoundly eccentric individual performing some strange ritual? That lingering question. That's often what makes these encounters so deeply unsettling.
That's a really powerful point, using psychological strength as a survival tool. And the fact they still debate his real intentions years later, what does that tell us about how these things stick with you?
It speaks volumes about our need for closure, for understanding. When you can't neatly categorize a threat, when the motive is completely opaque, your mind kind of struggles to file it away.
It just stays there, unresolved.
Precisely. Was he truly dangerous or just bizarre? That lack of a definitive answer creates this open loop in your memory, making the experience feel much more potent, much more disturbing than if his intentions had been clear, even if they were violent. It really underlines that the fears that haunt us most are often the ones we can't fully grasp or define.
These stories, these deep dives into the unexpected side of the wilderness, they definitely give you a new perspective on just heading out for a hike, don't they?
They certainly do. From these ritualistic discoveries to being stalked to armed confrontations, the wild holds beauty, absolutely, but also these pockets of profound unease.
Yeah.
And these accounts taken together, they really underscore that while, yes, physical preparation, having the right gear, knowing first aid, that's all crucial.
Standard hiking prep.
Right. But maybe just as important, or sometimes even more so, is the psychological aspect. Situational awareness, mental fortitude, trusting your gut.
And recognizing that the dangers aren't always environmental.
Exactly. These stories challenge our basic assumptions about safety, about human behavior when the rules of society are far away. They show both incredible resilience, like the Green Beret or the Sisters, but also a potential for darkness that's hard to ignore.
So maybe the ultimate wilderness survival skill isn't just about tying knots or reading a map. It's cultivating this sharp awareness of human behavior, your own reactions, and the potential actions of others, especially when you're isolated.
Being ready for the unexpected, not just from a sudden storm, but from another person you might encounter off the trail.
It's a sobering thought.
It is. And it leaves us with a question for you, listening. When you next venture out, maybe into the woods, maybe just somewhere quiet, how will stories like these change your definition of being prepared? Will you look at that solitude a little differently? What new awareness might you carry with you?
Something to definitely think about. For more fascinating deep dives, and to keep exploring these unseen corners with us, please make sure to follow and subscribe to The Deep Dive.
We appreciate you joining us.
We do. We'll be back next time to unpack more intriguing stories. See you then.